Welcome to Foundation Focus. My name is Bill Dendy, and I'm thrilled to be here with you today to share the stories of those who care about our Rotary Foundation and who give to our foundation and go do the good work with our foundation. And with me today is Miss Kathy Allred, who is our newest member of our Legacy Society in Dallas District 5810. And Kathy, welcome and thank you for being here with us.
It is my pleasure.
I understand you are our latest member of the Legacy Society, but what is this special echelon called the Legacy Society?
First of all, it's where you promise upon your death to leave money, okay? That's what I'm doing. And the different societies have different levels of giving. In my case, the Legacy Society is talking about contributing $1 million, and that's what I'll be doing. I have to give back. I want to give back in all ways that I can because I know that I will never be able to repay Rotary for what it has given me.
Well, tell us a little bit about your Rotary story.
Okay, happy to. Was at a chamber mixer and met somebody and we got to talking and he said, "You know, you're a Rotarian." And I said, "I am not." I didn't know what it was, but I knew I wasn't one. Then he told me a story. He said that his Rotary Club every year put on a senior prom, okay? They would go out, they advertise, they would go out, and if people could not on their own get to the senior center, they would send a vehicle out, pick them all up. They would have a big band performing, 14 different members, a big band, playing 40s rock and roll, if you will. And it was a party, it was a senior prom, and the impetus for this is, if you go back, say to 1990, which is when I joined Rotary 33 years ago, these people who were seniors were younger when the World War II was going on. And a lot of those gentlemen went off to war instead of their senior prom. So we were trying to give them something that they'd missed out on while they were serving our country. That story just, it hit me, it got my heart. And I want to belong to people, to an organization with people like that.
Well, tell me about your experience within Rotary doing some good in the world.
Well, one thing I did most recently was go to India and administer polio vaccine in the slum areas outside of Agra. And that's, boy, the more you give, the more you get. It's very fulfilling. It's just wonderful.
You were sharing with me before about your experiences in Mexico. Tell me about those.
Well, when I lived in Southern California, I didn't live terribly far from the border. And we became aware of a need in a village that wasn't in the city, wasn't in the town. And we had in our club a general contractor. And about 11 of us went to this village, and the foundation had been poured for us, but we built a kindergarten over a long weekend, doing things that I would no more do in the States than the man in the moon, hanging windows and stuff like that. I have put shingles on a roof, but yeah, I have some exposure. We did it all, we did it well, it worked. One of the mothers came up with a child pulling on her skirt, and another one in her arms, and like maybe another one coming along soon. And she had tears in her eyes, and she's, in her broken English and my broken Spanish, we communicated, and she said, I can never thank you enough. You gave me something, my children something that they would never have had, and we are indebted and grateful to you.
Tell me about your first experiences with the Rotary Foundation.
If I had known initially the variety of things that we do around the world, if it's disaster relief, you know, if it's sending money to people who are desperately in need of help, that's what we do with that money. And I'm proud to give to that. Thank you.
Amen. I agree with you. I think for a lot of us, once we know, once we see, and once we understand, the foundation giving is almost second nature. It is uplifting. It is what I guess is kind of self-actualizing.
Yes, I
But
would agree.
most people don't give $1 million to the foundation. Tell me what led to this with your particular situation, and how does that work?
Okay. Well, I didn't always have $1 million. And actually, there's been times in my life where I had to save money to buy my children's shoes. That's just the way it was. And fortunately, just because you've made some errors in judgment doesn't mean that that governs the rest of your life. I made some choices in terms of career. I got more education. And then I met some people who were willing to give me a helping hand. Okay? And I can never repay them, except I can give to the foundation and try and help other people the way I was helped.
Can you tell me what led you to picking Rotary as a benefactor?
I can never, ever repay Rotary for everything it's given me. If I had $1 billion to give, I could not begin to repay. I went to Toastmasters to be able to be president and speak in front of my club. I thought I could use a little tweaking. That gave me some confidence. That confidence spilled over into my work life a lot. And that helped me accumulate some money so that I could hopefully take care of some family members and have enough left over to share with Rotary. Something I'd like to share right now that I think is important. In going ahead and making my will and trust, one of the clauses was if for some reason there wasn't $1 million, the fund that's available for the 2 charity gifts I'm giving, then they are split in half. So if I only had
$100,000 left over because of some catastrophe in life, you would still $50,000 to
Exactly.
both charities. But if things work out the way they should work out,
Right.
it'll be $1 million plus, $1 million plus.
Exactly.
I love that thinking and doing the planning.
Something to think about. Each family is unique, so let's go ahead and give them the options of massaging this till it fits their needs. You give some to charity, you give some to family, and you get a balance in there that you're comfortable with. You're a CPA, you're an attorney, you're a financial planner. You've probably got some insight into this as well.
Well, absolutely. And even within families, I have folks who say, I want to leave the money to my children. And I've got 2 children who are really responsible, but that 3rd child, we just can't leave them $1 million outright. It should be in a trust, and somebody else needs to oversee it so it doesn't get spent in the wrong way. Mm-hmm. Or they'll have a situation where they'll want to leave money to charity, but have their children in the future decide what charity each year receives a distribution as a way to continue to have family meetings and to allow the charity to change over time, but have a gift that keeps on giving, like an endowment year after year.
There are so many things that we can do if we only knew it, you know? And I do hope that this broadcast will go ahead and get people thinking. You know, open your mind, be receptive to new ideas, and see if this doesn't work for you. Because it's probably something that you've never considered before.
Tell us about your experience with the international conventions, and what is that role that you're doing right now?
In my 33 years, I've been to 15 conventions.
15?
15, yes. The opening ceremony, when you see all the flags of all of the nations where Rotary is, and they do it in alphabetical order, and they go ahead and they play the music, the national anthem for each of these countries, and I was just taken aback. I had no idea. I knew I belonged to Rotary, but you know, it's Rotary International. But I didn't know I belonged to Rotary International.
And with the 1.4 million members from all over the world coming in their, I don't know, the dress of their countries, carrying the country's flags, it looks like the Olympics opening ceremony, doesn't it?
It really does, yeah.
And then the great events that you can do at the international conventions from the host committees.
Oh,
I've had some wonderful experience. I haven't done 15 though.
Well,
I mean,
there's still time.
it still works.
Okay,
So
my favorite, my
Uh-huh.
absolute favorite is home host hospitality, where they bring you into their home and feed you and talk, and maybe they bring neighbors over, maybe it's other Rotarians. It's so much fun, and you get a real sense of what it's like in that country.
Our organization's phenomenal. And the giving to the organization, most natural thing in the world. Tell us, for everybody viewing here, how does it feel to be a member of the Legacy Society?
Kind of like floating on a lovely light blue cloud. It's a heady thing. I didn't realize I had that much money. I really sat down and started examining things and going over with my financial advisor, and he pointed out that I had a few assets, and might want to think about the future and how these would be divided and so forth. And son of a gun, and I realized what I could do. I can make a difference. That money given to help people when there's a natural disaster around the world, or to help girls get bathrooms built. You asked what I'd done in Rotary, something that was interesting. I was in a back area of India, and I went to a ribbon cutting ceremony that Rotary Club was doing, and it was the opening of a girl's bathroom in a school. That sounds crazy, but usually when a girl reaches a certain age, she needs more privacy, and it's not available. So quite often they just drop out of school altogether. And we are making a difference with the matching funds and so forth.
Did you specify where the dollars are going to go?
That has probably been the hardest thing I've had to do, because I want to give it to all. I'd love to give $1 million to all of them. I can't do that. So absolutely, the disaster fund, that's very important to me. Natural issues. I'm still working on the others. It's not an easy task. There are so many good causes out there. I can only pick one or two to go ahead and support, but maybe the people listening to us would like to add to it. Maybe they can go ahead and get into areas that I haven't even looked at.
Well, what would you like to share for those who are viewing us today?
Please think about what we've talked about. Does any of it apply to you? And honestly, it's not too early to start thinking about your will and trust, regardless of your age.
So if you have a desire to give in this way, there are attorneys that will work with you at no cost for doing codicils to the will, and we've even found some that will provide help with doing trust work if you're doing a major gift to Rotary. If you want more information on how do you give to the Rotary Foundation, how do you make sure that your dollars have that long-lasting impact, how do you make gifts now or in the future, please feel free to reach out to the Rotary Foundation or to me directly. My contact information is below. Until next time, it's a joy to talk about our foundation here on Foundation Focus. God bless you.